Vega's turn to ban. Dire team ban.
Alright, you ready? Hello?
Vega Squadron's turn to pick.
Let us cast the Dota 2 game, friends.
Dota 2, it's the game that you cast with your friends. The ones you're good friends with, not your bad friends, the good friends.
What is that from?
I don't know.
I swear to God, that's from something.
10 seconds remaining.
Alright. Welcome back, everybody. We're finally here with the last game of the night here on the Dota Majors 2 stream. It is OG versus Vega Squadron, the rematch between these two to see who's going to be claiming that top 2 slot in their group and who's going to be dropping down into the lower bracket. We already have our drafts. Of course, I'm Capitalist. I'm going to be joined by my favorite co-caster in the world, Blitz Dota.
That is a really awkward statement for you to say because I don't know if I can return it.
You know, I figured I would start things off being nice to you, because you did a pretty good job with Toby, you know, bringing the hype and stuff, and I was like, man, I wish Blitz would actually cast like that when I was with him, but I just get the shitter Blitz.
Just to interject, by the way, if you guys were looking for LD or Toby, they're actually on the main stream, so if you don't want to listen to Cap, I completely understand. Can go to the Dota Major mainstream, that's where LD is casting. I repeat, that's where LD is casting.
You also have the better analysts there. I believe both Synderen as well as Merlini are there, so, you know, top 2 analysts.
Yeah, good follow-up, dude. Good follow-up. Real proud of you. Alright, so we should actually talk about the game now. Alright, so Shadow Fiend is picked up by OG. I absolutely love this pick. I think that Miracle is one of the better Shadow Fiends right now, just because of how aggressive he gets with this hero. And I feel like it's a hero that he can just completely carry from the mid-roll-in.
Vega Squadron's turn to ban.
Oops, there we go. Get a little sand in there. I really like the Night Stalker. I feel like the Night Stalker is going to be the hero of this current tournament, but what happened to the Doom?
The Doom actually... it usually gets banned. I don't know why it's...
Yeah, it's not banned or picked. What the hell?
I guess Vega Squadron just favor the Dazzle. It might actually be one of those circumstances where you have the Night Stalker, you're probably have an idea of how you want to run him, and it doesn't synergize anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at Vega Squadron's lineup, where does it really play in against a Shadow Fiend and a Night Stalker?
I guess it's just so weird the fact that 2 of the better offlaners have been banned away as well. The Darkseer and the Slardar. Like, especially the Slardar versus the Doom, I think has a lot of value, and the hero being taken out of the pool gives more precedence to the Doom.
I actually think this is maybe just the fact that Vega Squadron don't run it. Like, when's the last time you saw Mag actually play that Doom role? He's the hero, he's the player that's known for the clockwork, the Darkseer, heroes that can do something with the space. Doom, I feel like, is a little bit more passive of a farmer, and he's more of a lane dominator, but...
Alternatively, he does shine really well on the Broodmother as well, and that's not necessarily the same kind of, like, aggressive space-creating hero. It is a little bit more passive and lane-focused.
Brood is, like, a completely unique case, though, just because of what the hero can do, like, 1v3 against supports. I feel like there's nothing quite like it.
The Beastmaster now picked up for Vega Squadron, a hero that, when I heard the sound, I thought it was going to be OG's pickup, but Vega... presumably going to be running the offlane Mag Beast. Again, I would say a hero that actually needs a bit more farm. Typically, you're going to see him farm up the Necronomicon. He'll stay in his lane a little bit more often than your typical Clockwork or something like that.
Yeah, I think you picked the Beastmaster in response, though, to the Night Stalker, because you have to play the Vision game at some point, and Beastmaster is one of the few heroes that can actually keep up with the Night Stalker during that phase.
True.
Like, what are you supposed to do when Night Stalker gets axed? Because he'll inevitably get that, and all of a sudden, half the time you don't have Vision. He's got free Vision around the map, You can't just consistently let them initiate on you.
Yeah, if you don't have, like, I feel like if you don't have some sort of vision game via, like, the Beastmaster here, your only hope is to actually, like, gank up the Night Stalker early on and take away his gem. Otherwise, you just get screwed out entirely.
Yeah.
The Tusk now going to go the way of OG. I've been talking a lot about this combination. Going back before this major and watching a lot of the Chinese games, they seem to really like the Tusk Night Stalker. The duo is quite powerful. You're able to kind of like alternate which one of them is going to take the priority in farm. They both provide a lot of early aggression and potential pressure on the safe lane of Vega Squadron via, you know, maybe a dual lane or something like that.
I think that OG really focus in general on trying to win out the mid game with just pure aggression. So if their early game goes kind of badly, it's okay because they can recover with these types of heroes. But they're definitely one of the teams that really like to be able to win the laning phase if possible, so they can just get that momentum rolling early. Ooh. And Night Stalker and Tusk is really good at that. And I was just about to say, the Luna is going to be either really hit or miss. There's no in between with this type of hero, especially when you're playing against this kind of aggression. We saw it before. I talked to Illidan, I think, at the after party of ESL, where you remember they played Night Stalker that one, or they played against the Night Stalker and he was the Luna. Yeah. And he's like, what am I supposed to do against a level 7 Night Stalker that voids me for half my health?
Yeah. But
10 seconds remaining.
Did you actually see this coming at all for Vega Squadron? Because I'm just looking at it going like...
Play that vision game, dude. That nighttime vision game.
Alright. I mean, that's something, but does that actually make the hero all that viable? We actually just saw it being run by VP, who I think is one of the few teams who can run Luna very successfully, and they showed it in that first game against Newbie. They just crushed them. But Vega Squadron, I don't think of Vega Squadron picking up a Luna.
I kind of do, because when I think of Vega Squadron, I really think of the... there's certain teams that just work really well together, and they're naturally going to go towards a 5-man style. And I feel like Vega is one of them. Vega might have been the slightly more successful version of VP during the ESL phase.
So in that regard, you're talking about like him being a suitable replacement to the Gyrocopter, right? In that it is just a 5-man team fight hero.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's more just the fact that you can do something during the nighttime to combat the Night Stalker. I don't know if it's going to go exactly as they planned. And speaking of the Brood pick, I actually thought it would have been okay for Vega to pick it up early, even against the Tusk, Night Stalker, Shadow Fiend, but that hero really sort of destroys Vega when it comes to picks, because Dazzle, in theory, sounds okay. It's just like, oh, well, if you heal up a bunch of creeps, you can kill Broodlings, but in reality, what ends up happening is you never see the Brood, she trades Broodlings against you, then you Shallow Grave, and 4 spiders hit you until you die. I've seen it happen so frequently.
What are some of the best supports you could pick up against Broodmother that are left in the pool? Because I would normally look towards Winter Wyvern, but that hero's not there at all. You need some sort of...
Oh, it's banned. Yeah, the Spirit Breaker is really good just because you can keep the vision and set up ganks really easily. But OG, they're going to ban it out. I've seen Zeus have some success, but I think in a game like this, it's kind of pointless.
And it doesn't give you the lane presence, I think, that you require.
Yeah.
You need something with catch, right?
Yeah, if they didn't take the Beastmaster, I could have said they could have just ran whatever their flexible 3-position role was into a support and then pick something like a safe lane and go for the aggro. But I don't know if you can run a Beastmaster 1v1 against Broodmother. And I don't think that's the play anyways. That it is going to be a double melee support, and they kind of serve the same function, the Night Stalker and the Tusk.
Yeah.
But, so I guess Vega Squadron have that going for them. I'm trying to think right now, though. Supports that can do this, like, Lena would be okay-ish, but she's got such low armor.
And you don't have a setup stun for her.
Yeah, ES would be kind of okay. I think Earthshaker would be average, but he would struggle against the rest of the lineup.
10 seconds.
The other thing to say about Earthshaker is that you do have the potential roam into the middle lane where you could set up the Queen of Pain for a kill on the SF, which could be pretty critical. But as you said, it's not going to do well against Night Stalker.
Oh, sick! They did that. They are doing it. They're just going to force the. That's what you have to do. In all honesty, I was going to say before I cleanse that thought in my brain. The problem is it's not super ideal to have Beastmaster playing that weird in-between flex role now. but you almost need to pick something like this. The other issue too is that the Axe isn't fantastic against the Night Stalker or the Tusk, but
10 seconds
And
remaining.
how is your... Because presumably, right, they're going to put Axe in the safe lane to match up against the
5
Broodmother,
seconds
and then
remaining.
you've got Luna, Beastmaster, Dazzle, Aggro, Tri-Lane.
5
How's that
seconds
actually going to
remaining.
work? I mean, it's not the most terrible thing in the world, I think, at level 1, because you're still going to get boars, and that's all right. A lot of harassment, essentially, between 2 boars, a Dazzle, and a potential Luna.
I think that if OG didn't have so many of these melees, so it looks like maybe Night Stalker is going to be playing the 1-ish position. Yeah, it looks like that's what's going to happen. Okay, so No Tail's going to play the Night Stalker. I really like him in that role. I think that No Tail playing the Space Sea carry is actually excellent. I think that's where he excels, for sure.
All right, well, we'll see how Vega Squadron do. A repeat performance by them on the Luna today, something that they've just revealed in this tournament
10
against
seconds
OG once again. See whether or not OG is able to counter it a bit better than
5
the
seconds
first go
remaining.
around.
I actually sort of like the Knights or the Beastmaster in this role, because what he honestly all he has to do is keep up the vision game and roar Miracle when he tries to ult,
Prepare for battle.
and you can do that from a support role. It doesn't really quite matter. I just kind of corrected myself because it's gonna just be awkward, right? Like
Yeah.
you are making an adjustment that you previously didn't mean to. So can I say like I half-wintered that? Can we call it a half-winter?
No,
Okay.
not even close.
Maybe I should have just stuck to my guns and I would have looked like a genius.
Yeah,
I talked myself out of it. It was bad.
or you're just lying to everyone.
No, I was talking about it. You can watch the VOD. Yo, you know what would have been sick actually from Vega? Or from OG if they had taken the Meepo? If they took the Meepo? If they
And
didn't
then
already
put Night Stalker and Tusk as supports. You're
that
talking
would
about
have been
fifth pick?
terrible, actually. I just really like when OG or what's that team?
30 seconds. to
We
Secret?
Secret. They decided to go for the Meepo against the Queen of Pain opener. I think that's such an interesting flair that you add in the matchup. But that kind of gets eliminated when you have 2 supports that are melees that serve the exact same purpose.
Yeah. Oh, the double mango build for the Big Daddy No Tail Night Stalker. This is definitely going to be one of the more interesting drafts and
The
early
battle
games
begins.
for both of these teams. Beastmaster on one side, Night Stalker, core, pseudo, I guess, one position. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more farm priority going to the both the Broodmother as well as the SF, and your SF is going to be your functioning carry. So, how does the 2 supports move around here on the map for OG? It looks like just potentially a lot of roaming. And may turn bad for Kratos. He's going to run straight into the Beastmaster with double boars out, so a lot of damage is going to be taken. Unfortunately, no one is not in a position to really take advantage of that small amount of harassment.
Yeah, he's got boots. That's not going to do anything. Thank God Crit has boots. And the level 1 boar isn't very strong. Pumbaa doesn't do too much. And Vega, I think you want to swap your lanes out. It is a dual melee at bottom, so maybe Mag feels comfortable about this. But the Brood at top is going to be fairly successful. They do have sentries and a dust, so maybe they actually anticipated this.
Yeah, I think they're actually okay, right? Because if you're running an aggro lane into the Broodmother, I think it's a lot easier for you to corral the Brood into an area where your sentries are a lot more effective.
Yeah, but the problem is whenever Crit rotates like this at bottom, they're going to get the kill on him for sure. He's going to go down. You don't have any vision on that side of the map. I guess you have this one ward, but Crit just kind of... I don't know if he should have died there, actually. Because they had vision, right? He saw him coming.
Yeah, they had the ward.
Maybe it was just a combination of he got initiated on at the same time. But I almost feel like they should just switch back. Because this defensive tri-lane can do okay against OG's lineup.
Oh, absolutely.
And the Axe can... I know for a fact the Axe does really well against Broodmother, especially one that's gone for this Spawn Spiderlings build. I think it was like Bulldog that went for the no Broodlings build and then just harassed the Axe in the lane.
Yeah, that was established much earlier before Bulldog came along, and that was actually one of the CIS teams. I think that first said that. It might have been like No Screen Squad or something like that. It was really innovative at the time. Where
that was a Dota 1 strat too, though. Is when you played against the Sand King or the other, you just go for the right click build.
Yeah.
I think the first person I actually ever saw do it in Dota 1 was Tides of Time. So shout out to him.
Another counter ward being laid out, just out of range of Moon, though. They are putting a lot of pressure on this tower, and maybe that's why Vega Squadron want to keep the way the lanes are. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Miracle dropping dangerously low. He will go down to that last right click from the Queen of Pain, as no one was putting early pressure on that SF, and this time around finally gets the kill.
That might have been one of the few times I've seen Miracle get solo killed, like in a straight 1v1 matchup. And that is so brutal for them because I almost feel like OG really rely on him being able to win his lane. And I mean, credit where credit is due. Most of the time he does.
And look at this. This is exactly what we're talking about here. That it seems very apparent that Vega Squadron want to be able to take away this tier 1 tower first before they rotate out. Solo even going so as far as pulling the creep wave into the easy camp just to give them a little bit more time on this tier 1.
Really good job, and you notice they're using the Boars too to stack with the Shadow Wave, just giving
Miracle's
themselves
gonna go down
targets.
again. No one just finds that kill, and he may be caught in the process. No blink off for 10 seconds, so he's probably gonna be blocked out here and potentially right click down. Yeah, Crit's got the telekinesis, so this is definitely a kill in return, but still, the fact that he managed to kill Miracle again. And this is supposed to be the big carry of OG when they decided to run this Broodmother on a kind of 2 position and the Night Stalker as the 3rd place farmer here. This puts a lot of pressure on the SF to do well, perhaps even better than you would normally expect out of his lane because he has to be the sole carry.
Yeah, they're going to swap out lanes now. What I'd actually like to see from OG is for them to just follow around this Axe and even rotate just one support to come kill him with the Brood. But that's going to be pretty hard in itself. Miracle is going to head right down to the mid lane again. This is a level 6 Queen of Pain, and this is about the kill zone that you expect. Like, this is the range where she instantly gets killed, and that is
great
brutal.
Pickoff. Mag comes in, able to be a part of the kill. Meanwhile, OG grouping up 4 heroes here in the middle lane because it's nighttime. They want to get a pick off on Solo, and they'll definitely get it here as they should be able to dive the tower quite easily. No one's still sitting around. Why did he stay around? Now he's going to be silenced up, and maybe he's going to be caught in the process. The silence about to fade. Looks like he will be able to get out with the blink away. Unfortunately, Crit low on mana. Didn't have the mana for a telekinesis, and that is exactly why no one is able to escape.
I sort of think if no one had gone for the ultimate there, and had completely forgotten the 3rd level of the Scream of Pain, he probably gets a kill or 2 there, right?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't in danger with Crit having no mana. But he opts to go for the 3rd level of the Scream of Pain, thinking that the laning phase is going to be a little bit more passive than this. And you can definitely farm once you've got this regen. He's almost got the treads completed too.
What is the argument if you're sitting here as a mid player to go for the 3rd and 4th level of Scream of Pain maxed out by level 7 as opposed to the Sonic Wave's pure damage? Is it more efficient damage to mana ratio? Is that the thing? Oh, Pasha dropping dangerously low here in the bottom lane. There's so many Spiderlings. He may even die from that, but Moon is going to be chased down by the 2 supports. Looks like he will get cleaned up. Sam the Slayer's just going to get eaten apart by those spiders. Jesus, it's an army. Solo may be going down as well. Look at these. They're like just like they're four-shotting. They get out of the spider webs, though, and that means Solo now has the movement speed advantage. He'll take apart the boar, but he actually chased both Pasha as well as almost Solo out of the lane completely via that spider army.
The problem is that you never really realize how many are on you when they're stacked up like that. You think it's only 4 or 5, and you look at when they're spread out like this and you see that it's near 20. You don't anticipate dying that quickly, but...
Essentially, if you look at it as just like one big unit, those spiderlings like 3-shot the Dazzle. Poor guy didn't stand a chance.
Radiant's bottom tower is
But Mag is getting a pretty free time of this. He's got 800 gold. Miracle is going to invis up. He has the opportunity. Crit's going to be right behind him. He's taking quite a lot of damage.
Yeah, Mag will be going down. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, you've got No Tail setting things up. In the nighttime, they're going to go for Sioma Slayer. Try and pop him during the silence time. They do have the snowball that's going to come out. The Ice Shards misses, though. Sioma Slayer's going to be okay and actually gets out of heal. And it's going to be Tusk who dies first. With the Queen of Pain's quick reaction onto the TP. No Tail, quick retreat now after that failed gank.
I do like, though, that Crit was able to get this ward up in this southern section of the map. This is going to give them a lot of control of the jungle, and it'll tell them where the Axe is going to head. It's going to tell them whether or not the Luna's coming in. It'll spot the non-TP rotations of no one too, which is going to be fairly significant. Like, this is allowing them information to just go on Pasha at bottom.
Oh, they don't have TP. It's off cooldown, so Pasha very likely to die here to the next round of Void, or the Broodmother takes the kill. Siama Slayer, he's going to go down as well. Can TP out in time. OG, strike back. No tail. I said he was on the quick retreat, but he decided against that, came right back to the bottom lane.
And that's what that ward did right there. That's what the vision game does for you, because it implies so much. It's, you don't see the Axe run down there, you know that no one has rotated as a result of that ward. So you know that at worst it's a 2-on-2 fight, and no one has already blown his TP. So just by process of elimination, that's a good play.
And that now means Moon may be able to take this tier 1 tower. It's looking good for him either way. Mag is going to start heading down, but it's a bit too late. Moon is taking it, and between that and the ward, is going to open up the jungle. It's going to be Moon's playground, essentially, where he'll be able to farm up a potentially fast Orchid to help shut down the Queen of Pain and the Luna.
And I've been getting super into wards lately. I feel like I don't talk about them enough in my cast, but the warding vision right now of OG really on the money right now, because they're not playing on their side of the jungle. So this ward up here by Vega isn't doing as much as they'd like it to do. It's giving them the info that Miracle is jungling, but you could have just assumed that because he's down in the mid lane, right? Like, where else is a Shadow Fiend?
Yeah, process of elimination. He's got to be farming up the jungle per usual.
Yeah.
But they are actually going to smoke up there. The two supports rotating in the jungle join Miracle while he's farming, smoke up with him,
and
they're going to be the damage necessary to kill Pasha, because they're going to be able to lead with a snowball, follow up with a telekinesis, and Pasha's just going to get burst down. Slight miss there, but it'll still be all good. As just to add on a little cookie on top of the crumble, they've got a Lucent Beam stolen for crit, so another nuke bit of damage for the next gank.
Yeah, and that's where that ward... It helps, of course, but if the smoke gank is... They know for a fact that there's a ward up there, because where else are you going to put it, right? Like, why else would Pasha be farming there? So OG knows that all they have to do is smoke up, get around that area. Pasha's going to feel completely safe because he sees nobody walking through there, right? And now I think the point of the game is for OG to get aggressive on this side of the jungle, set up ward vision, which they have. They even have the sentry down. And if you're Vega, Mag has to get his Blink Dagger before you're able to open up, because that's the downside of having this support Beastmaster, right? He's not going to have the item set to be able to initiate for you.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to be the Axe. And you don't want your Queen of Pain to have to initiate against a Shadow Fiend, Tusk, Night Stalker. If you use your Blink offensively against that, No Tail just pops his nighttime, silences you, and you die instantly.
That being said, it does also mean the Vega Squadron are going to hit a certain power spike, and they may be able to play a lot more aggressively against OG via the Blink Dagger as well as the level 6 coming out on solo. There's going to be a time where Moon can be hunted down, but if they don't successfully get that kill, maybe Moon's game to claim, as he's going to force Solo out. The nuke comes in, but Solo will be able to get away with just a sliver of HP.
I don't know if the power curve is going to be as strong as we initially anticipate. The Axe is still pretty squishy against OG's lineup, and Miracle is about to pick up the mechanism. So when it comes to the 5-man mid-game, I seriously feel like OG is going to be on top for at least a little bit.
Yeah. It's going to be more about Vega Squadron finding pickoffs, right? Catching out the Broodmother, maybe, you know, potentially getting a kill on the SF.
Radiant's middle tower.
But it's going to be more about finding one hero, bursting him down, disabling him, and then getting the hell out of there. Because I agree with you. I feel like the team fight is going to be superior for OG, especially with this mech coming in quite soon from Miracle.
Yeah, you've got Blink Dagger completed on the Axe now. I think you want to try to get aggressive, but again, this ward spawning things out for them. They know that everybody's coming down. OG's already running away. Miracle's going to TP out. This is just going to create some further space for Fly to farm up at top a little bit and pick up his level 6. And this is going to prompt Miracle to just come back to this mid lane and force Vega to just rotate inefficiently. And this ward is going to spot them out once again, so that's 3 times now that it's paid for itself. And that's roughly what you want at a ward.
Yeah, they've got to know about the vision by now. Siama Slayer picks up some counter wards. He's going to take this jungle ward, but I mean, there was only a minute and a half left. As you said, it served its purpose.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if it gets dewarded at this point because Vega, they didn't want to have to smoke for opportunities like this. They've only got one left in the bank, and you'd prefer that for something a little bit more game-changing rather than just going for a kill on a Broodmother, right?
This is very odd. Is Vega Squadron like wanting to 4 or 5 man? I'm just wondering, why are they sticking around in their jungle grouped up so much?
Because where do you go? You know, at top, OG can open up on you so quickly. Like, your Luna isn't tanky enough with 815 HP. No lifesteal, no Yasha, no real way to escape. So she's going to get bursted down again if she just shows up at top lane. Any 2 heroes on OG can do it, practically. Like, even the Tusk with level 6 and the Rubik, right? Like, the Rubik steals your Lucent Beam, hits you once with it, then the Tusk blows you up. So you have to play centered on your side of the jungle, and when you're playing the Radiant side, it's absolutely imperative that you control your own jungle, because there's so many different openings into it. Like, look at how much this is setting up over and over again. They're just gonna take control of this bottom half of the map because they have control and vision of the jungle.
But isn't that, in a way, Vega Squadron playing into OG's favor? They go into their own jungle rather than, you know, playing most of their heroes up into the top lane and just staying out of the Broodmother lane until he pushes the tier 2. Because then they could have, like, the Dazzle sitting behind the Luna, right, when she's farming. And that way, if there is that potential gank, the Shallow Grave will give enough time, hopefully, for the Luna to pop the ultimate.
Yeah, OG's gonna go for the smoke. That's a really nice blink by Mag, but...
No Tail just running on in there. They do have an Ice Shards. Almost catches Pasha.
OG
counter wards.
They're doing the right thing. They're trying to get as aggressive as possible, but Vega doesn't want to give this up if they can.
Yeah, they're going to slow down Fly with the board. They will be able to catch him here with Smag. Gets the call in. The Broodling's coming in, but Tusk just gets immediately eliminated. Solo does get silenced up, but they're actually stuck against all these Broodlings. No one's going to be able to clear through them with a Scream. Looks like No Tail slowed down. Mag jumps in, trying to get the call. The ultimate goes out for the SF, and Mag, he just gets destroyed, and now it's going to be Vega Squadron on their retreat. No one's silenced up, but is it going to be last long enough? Pasha pops the ultimate, but there's so many units around. He can't get a good ultimate off. Looks like Solo's going to be going down. No one pops the ultimate, but it's still not enough to take anyone down from OG. Fortunately, Vega will be able to get out with the rest of their heroes. Maybe not. Skeleton Slayer taking so much damage from Miracle, and he doesn't have a Shallow Grave to save himself, so Miracle is just going to walk him down potentially. Got another right-click and a long-range raise, or just the raise. That's going to be good enough to get the kill and claim the Tier 1 tower.
The timing on that, they knew that once that roar was expended, the Axe was going to follow up immediately with that blink call. He was waiting at the very edge of it. Miracle pre-preps that ultimate, and that's why he's got 8,000 MMR, folks.
Beautiful play by Miracle. Good recovery all around ever since that early pressure that he was feeling.
And he died solo twice, and now he's got 6 straight kills.
Yeah, and he's also 8,500 net worth right now. 2K over the Queen of Pain, the highest of Vega Squadron.
That kind of... The thing is, you can see that coming. Even with my vision, I was trying to plan through like the process of what Miracle was going to do, but he's already worked it out, like in real time, without all of the vision that I had.
Yeah.
Just absurd. I think that's the thing that impresses me the most, is not even just the mechanical skill, it's the game sense to be able to go for plays like that. But I've already talked him up enough.
Looks like Broodmother's going to be going Vlad's next after the Hand of Midas that he grabs. No Orchids, No Tail trying to go for the solo kill, but a lot of Vega Squadron, they've been making sure to hold on to TPs for these Night Stalker ganks. Because as a solo hero, he won't be able to get any kills.
I feel in some ways that Vega, in this game, their options are really limited because you don't have a flash farmer in Luna, and by flash farmer I mean something that can just immediately wave clear, right? Like the glaives are good once you have some items, but he doesn't really have the items or levels to immediately get in and out of there and create map control, because that's what ends up doing it, right? You want a hero that can just clear 1 or 2 waves immediately, TP out, then you force the enemies around that movement. But because Vega forced these lanes around so slowly, and OG have done such a good job of controlling the jungle, it's really difficult for Vega to just move around the map freely. Like, they're pretty limited to their jungle.
Do you think that's why the Queen of Pain is going for the Aghanims pickup? That sort of helps because you've got a Broodmother to deal with, you want to expend that ultimate a little bit more liberally, and you need more map control by pushing out these lanes faster, that it's better to go for the Aghs build here?
I think it's less to do with the Brood and more to do with that.
Okay.
If you go for the BKB, and you don't win the consecutive fights with it, you pretty much just lose the game. Because you don't have mana regen, right? And you don't have a mana pool to work with. So you need some kind of item. The Orchid is way too late at this point, because the Shadow Fiend is just going to hard counter you by getting a BKB.
Right.
So the next best option is...
Yule Scepter, I think, because of the silence, but...
Yeah, but if you go for the Yule Scepter, you're entirely too defensive.
Yeah.
Look at their lineup right now. They have no damage. Pasha can't get a good ultimate off because there's 50 Broodlings everywhere. And the Tusk is just going to snowball if he's really good, which he is. And so what are you left with? You're left with the option of Lucid Beaming and right-clicking once or twice.
Not great options for Vega Squadron right now as we continue to see OG build up more and more of a net worth lead. They've got the SNY about to be complete for the SF. They're probably going to be looking towards Roshan soon because they have such good control. Not only they Dire side, but they've also taken control of the Radiant jungle. So they're going to clear through it now with Miracle and Moon.
I feel like this Brood plus this Night Stalker pick just did so much for OG. They were just able to open up so much of the map. We haven't really talked about Tail's impact.
Mag is actually a little bit low on HP, but if they get the right initiate, it's just too late. Roshan's already been taken.
You run away, Vega. The vision game is not with you in this one.
So a completely useless smoke for Vega Squadron.
The roughest part right now, Cap, is just the Night Stalker is about to finish the Aghanim Scepter, and you're already pretty far behind on this team. It's not like things get suddenly easier for you once he gets this item.
Yeah.
They get infinitely harder. At that point, you're pretty much playing blind. And like you talked about, no one has gone for this build where he eschews the Yule Scepter.
Oh god. Is Pasha? No, I don't think he's dead from this. But it was pretty close. If that raise had landed, he would have been brought down to about 20, 30 HP. Even the supports are looking pretty... Look at the amount of farm that Crit has. He hasn't died yet, so he's got Arcane Boots, 4 Staff, and an Urn. It's an insane amount of farm for a support at 18 minutes into the game.
Yeah, they just look really on point this game. Their draft was a little bit easier to execute, and they've done such a good job of controlling the Radiant jungle that it's been incredibly hard for Vega to contest. And Vega is now in a position where they're trying to split up the map, but the only hero that can really do it is the Queen of Pain. And that's not the hero that you need to do it. You need the Luna that's only level 10 to have some more impact.
I feel like, once again, OG, you mentioned the wards earlier, I'm going to mention them again. Really aggressive wards. This one by the Ancient Camp, very unlikely to be countered. You've also got a good laning one here in the top lane, and they're playing around that vision. Once again, it seems like they're going to be playing in the mid lane. It looks like they're also going to be pushing out the top lane as well.
The best part of being ahead like this is that Fly feels so comfortable just pushing in like this, because he knows that it's not worth the Smoke King to just go for him, and because they have that ward in that top side, it's kind of like an extra layer of protection, right? To him, he's thinking, if you come and gank me with the smoke, then great. But if they walk through that ward vision, then I'm perfect anyways. I can just TP out really quickly.
For a successful smoke, they'd have to like group up by the tier 2 tower and go all the way through the lane, and that's just an absurd. Like, it'll never be worth the resources for just a Tusk kill. Meanwhile, Miracle's aggressively pushing in for a tier 2 because he also feels safe. He has the Manta, and by the way, he went for sorry, I meant to say he has the Aegis, but he went for the Manta over what I thought was going to be the SNY. We don't see too much Manta on SF. Why did he go for it here?
I was trying to theorycraft that. I think it's just a good high ground tool, more than anything, and getting the illusions is pretty good. You can outplay the Beastmaster Roar and trick him a little bit. Same with the Eclipse.
It's another, I was about to say, it's another set of units that takes up the Lucent Beam from the Eclipse. It also has its downside in that it's most likely the illusions are going to be easily cleared through by the Sonic Wave, or you've got the potential downside of Axe getting a good Berserker's Call, but Miracle just, he knows these things, so you just kind of have to play around them.
He's got 2,500 gold now, too. Go for Butterfly, maybe? You could just go for raw HP, too, if you want.
I like the idea of Butterfly just to increase the damage from his illusions.
Yeah, I don't think he needs a BKB. I can't imagine it being ultra useful right now against Vega. You can just continue to build against the physical damage. Queen of Pain ult's gonna do a lot of damage to you anyways.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna be grouped up, right? Like, the biggest thing is going to be the Eclipse that the BKB would help you against, and if you're staying grouped up and you have the Manta to help dispel some of that damage as well, I think it's gonna be pretty well mitigated.
They're gonna trade towers right now. This is part of the game where you are far enough ahead that you can do this. A lot of teams like LGD in the past would almost never give up this tower if possible. They would pre-prep and send heroes down there for the pincer maneuver, but I think they feel comfortable enough with the amount of map control that they have that they're not too worried about just one tier 1 tower. And Vega are placing aggressive wards on their own. They actually got one on the bottom side hill so that they could spot rotations. The Roshan has been taken though, so not gonna change too
playing
much.
pretty far forward here. Mag almost catching him with the call, but even if he did, there was still crit and no tail. Here to go with a quick response. Looks like our Moon Broodmother is now going to go for a BKB.
I think that's about right. For her anyways. If you can force things like the call to just solo go on you or Beastmaster, for example, to roar you, that's just an ability that you're not using on the Shadow Fiend.
Looks like tier 2 is the next step for OG. Played around their vision pretty well, going for both the mid and top tier 2, but now they're just left with the bottom tier 2. Increase their gold factor even more. Probably gonna wait on the next Roshan after that before they try and push uphill, as their Aegis just faded.
Yeah, there's no reason to have to do that. You've got 4k gold on Miracle, he can still build into his next item. Moon is getting his BKB right now, I believe.
Boy, Vega are just desperate that OG are not 5-manning bottom. But the truth of the matter is they're not gonna find anybody with this smoke. And OG will claim another tier 2. So if anything, Vega Squadron go for the smoke gank on the tier 1 tower.
I think if you're watching this game, you know for sure the situation that Vega are in, so I don't want to butter the situation up and tell you guys incorrectly, but Vega can still win this game if they get some sort of ridiculous call and Pasha gets lucky with the Eclipse. Like, the way that Vega have to do it is they have to clear all of the side units with the Sonic Wave, and then just hope that Tuss doesn't get the snowball off in time. Like, it sounds unlikely, and it's a very specific set of scenarios that have to happen, but I mean, crazier things have happened in Dota, right?
Yeah. It almost seems like Soul's kind of playing around that fact, that he's like, okay, high ground defense is going to be our best option because the enemy team is coming to me. I don't need a Blink Dagger necessarily, and I'm just going to try and increase the damage and sustain of our Luna by picking up a Vlad's.
Alright, so Axe is gonna go for... Oh, he's just gonna die.
Yeah. Who knows what he's gonna go for, because he's gonna lose gold. Try and TP out. They don't have a stun, actually. Oh my god.
That is surprising.
They have they have a stun each. In fact, they have 2 stuns on Fly, and then a stun on 2 of their other heroes, but they blow them all in order to try and kill Mag, and he is able to just taunt and TP out.
I did not think he was that tanky. And he isn't. I just think that that was done a tad incorrectly.
Yeah.
And nobody from Vega is nearby. And OG knows that. They've got the vision from the Night Stalker. If you notice that No Tail actually disengaged for half a second to scout around to make sure that this wasn't a suicide mission. Didn't find anybody, and they still allow Mag to get away. Really heads up play by him, I guess. Recognizing that all the stuns are down.
OG, how much longer until Roshan? I think it was like another 3 minutes or something. So that'll probably be when our next clash is, especially with Pasha picking up the BKB. But here's a question for you, Blitz. Does Vega Squadron actually go out? Do they have to defend on around Roshan, or do they play around their high ground defense? Which is more likely for success?
I think you go for the Roshan.
Okay.
I think the high ground success is actually pretty limited. You've got the Queen of Pain that can continuously spam, but your Luna's never going to get farm if you don't want to fight.
Yeah.
So what you probably do if you're Vega is let Pasha get the BKB, and then force an engagement with that. Let's look at Vega's items right now. It's the main item that's going to come in. The BKB from no one as well, but look at the rest of their items.
Yeah.
You're not going to catch up to Vega. You're not going to catch up to OG and farm this way. So the way that if you're a viewer, you should look at it is once the next set of items comes, then we go for it. Because you're not going to slowly wait for Mag to get a BKB 2, 3,600 gold later. You're going to just wait for the 200 gold that you have to get 2 BKBs on the side of Vega, and then you just all-out assault.
Yeah, even if you look at the team fight and it's not like percentage-wise to your favor, it's still going to be the best that it will be for another like 10 to 15 minutes.
Exactly.
So you do kind of need to force something.
That's the way that you should look at it when you're looking at these item timings. Like, that's what the item timings represent, is that most of the time you think, okay, well, we can just slowly hold on to items, but what does that really do for you?
And Roshan is going to be coming up quite soon here, and Vega Squadron should realize that maybe they are just going to go for split push. Do they have a smoke? They do have a smoke in the shop, so it is possible for them to try and go for, you know, smoke cake right now, go to Roshan pit, see if they can get a pick off, or maybe even catch OG in the mid of Roshing. But Sioma Slayer now going to be running into Miracle. He's just getting run down once again. The TP out. Snowball will stop him. Sioma is going to be the first casualty of the long war for Roshan.
Somebody's got to die. Better the Dazzle than anybody.
True.
This is going to allow no one to just kind of push out this top lane too. It's just free information. Like one of those kinds of deaths, when you're support, they don't change anything too much because the gold swing is fairly minimal. The amount of XP that a level 10 Dazzle gives up at 27 minutes is semi-irrelevant. This death, though, on the other hand...
Solo, much more important, especially since it's so close to Roshan actually going down. He is going to roar up crit. He's going to go for that kill. He will be able to get it with the help of his boar as well as the neutrals. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, they're actually diving in. No one is going to be able to blink away from that one, but they've already lost their axe, and they're just going to continue on to the tier 3 tower. Really thought that since Moon spotted out Roshan that they were going to go for that, but... Miracle with this ballsy ass build. He is so damn tanky now between Manta style and then going for the Satanic. He's just going, you're not going to be able to kill me. You're not going to be able to burst me down. And now I have to sustain via Satanic. If they actually get an Aegis, it's like 3 lives on the SF.
They're going to go for the Roshan next. This is the objective that they should go for. A Satanic, like you mentioned, plus the Aegis. He is going to be nearly unkillable.
And he even has a little bit of extra damage to add to it. Crystallis being picked up not so long after his Satanic. And Roshan will be going down to the favor. Looks like Vega Squadron maybe trying to smoke up for it and get there in time, but just not fast enough.
Yeah. Got the Vlad's completed on Moon 2, so all the side items are pretty much there for the side of OG. You don't have to wait for any of your support items. Maybe the Glimmer Cape on the Rubik if you can help it, but... This is about as strong as both teams get.
No tail. They're going to try and go for it, but he's one step ahead of Mag, and now here comes the turnaround. OG are actually going to pursue and see if they can pincer in. Solo is actually going to go for Moon here with the ultimate, lay down Sonic Wave, not nearly enough. Pasha's now going to pot up an ultimate of his own. They control Moon even further, but Pasha, he's a little bit surrounded. Fly's going to pop the snowball. Mag is going to be the first target of OG. Gets the Shalgrave, buys a little bit more time, but he has no one to really chop. The ultimate goes out for Miracle, cleaves out both the Dazzle, and takes away the life of the Axe and crit. Oh ho ho, he almost picked up the kill on, whoa! That's just a straight up GG. I think Vega Squadron, they knew how much on the ropes they were in this game. I just can't believe that they just straight GG'd out before a single tier 3 tower was down.
It's not going to get any better at that point. The Shadow Fiend still has the Aegis, he's got a Satanic. They recognize that Pasha uses BKB and his ultimate, and without both of those up, what's the point?
Right.
I think Vega, they understand what went wrong with this draft and how they played the game. Already, they just kind of got outworked by OG when it came to the warding game and the laning decisions, and that's something that you can more easily change than, for example,